You know, I usually, I find myself talking out loud. I say I'm talking to God. I just tell him stories. I just be talking. Yeah, you would swear there's another person in this house. I'm thinking, I probably should record these. Because I never really think about the same things. Something passes my mind, and then I think about it and my past, and reflect on it, and then I let it go. But people say you shouldn't talk to yourself. So I say I'm talking to God. Yep, I'm just talking. I can feel his presence. It's really nice. I was just thinking about how people can feel, I would say, feel his presence when they're in my presence. Because it's not me. Maybe it is. I don't know, but no. My struggles have made me who I am. And I'm able to relate to people. I see their pain. And usually them hearing my story and knowing that I've been in their shoes, literally. I didn't want to get out of that bed. No. I remember I was a CNA, mid-20s, I think. Yeah. So I did agency, and they would send you to different places, which was cool. If you didn't like a place, you didn't have to go back. You didn't have to get mixed up in all the drama of the coworkers that worked there. You just go, do your business, and go home. And you don't gotta go back. But you did have to worry about your hours. And they'd only have to keep you for 4. And they could call you off. So, but being a CNA usually kept busy. Anyways, but usually I worked in nursing homes. I worked in hospital, spine hospital. All they did was surgeries. That's all they did. It's pretty interesting. A lot of dumping of drains and stuff. Totally different from a nursing home. But the place that I really liked, and I didn't have to clean anybody up. Except once, I cleaned somebody up. Coworkers that didn't know what to do. I was like, but yes, being a CNA, I've done it. So yeah, I cleaned him up. But he was an old man, He had an accident. Anyways, that's not the point. But the place is for suicidal people. Basically. There's a lot of young people, mid-age. Only a couple older, like that guy. He really needed just to be in a nursing home lockdown setting because he was very confused. At least that's what I remember of him. But he was a nice man. I don't know why he was there. Anyways, so this place, where people who are suicidal go, and they live there until they're released. And I remember this lady, like they would have visitors, their family would come, and she was just venting about how her husband Didn't see the point of her being there. And it was a waste of money and all this stuff. And it was just negative. And I just looked at her, let her talk. And I asked her, do you feel like you need to be here? Do you feel better being here? She said yes. I said, okay. That's all you need to know. She kind of just sat back and looked at me. But in particular, there was this guy. I rarely got sent to that place for a while. I liked that place. But they had somebody who routinely went there. That was, I think they were kind of signed in type, whatever, I don't know. So I only went there a little while, a couple times. And just this one time, I think it was just one shift out of a week or something. Or a month, I don't know. But it was a while. Anyway, so I went there and they assigned me to this guy. I don't even remember what he looks like. Don't remember his name. Don't remember his story. It's been so long ago. But he was one-on-one. He was a middle-aged man, I think. He wasn't young. And I just kind of sat in there. He was one-on-one, so you have to sit in there with people. I sat in there. I didn't really say anything, really. We talked a little bit. I told him my story. And that I knew how he felt. He said he could not stand hearing people laugh. Could not stand it. Yeah, I know. When you don't feel that inside, I hadn't laughed in years. Until recently. Laughing is medicine for the soul. And if you can't grasp that, if you're not able to laugh, yeah, you envy that. No, I don't want to hear that shit. Or seeing people on Facebook, all happy and whatever. No, you don't want to see that. Yeah. Because you're like, why can't I be like that? What is wrong with me? And a lot of us suffer from mental illnesses. Me in particular. So it doesn't have to be actually something that's wrong with the world. There's something wrong within us that we have to take medication for. And a lot of us are in denial about that. Every one of us. Every one of us. Me in particular, yeah, I did. When you first start out, you get diagnosed. They said, Lisa, you're bipolar. I said, no, I'm not. But I'm bipolar type 2. I don't get those mood swings, I'm not manic and depressant. Bipolar type 2 is strictly depression. Like the worst depression you could ever experience. That's what they told me. Yeah. My dad suffers from depression. So I don't know where the bipolar came in from. But it's hereditary. Depression is hereditary. Anxiety, though, I developed anxiety. Anxiety is a bitch. It is. Oh my God. So being depressed, you don't care about shit. You just don't care. You just have anxiety. You care about everything. Worry about what's happening. What's going to happen. Oh my God. Just worry. Anxious. On alert. Fight or flight. Yeah, that's anxiety. Anyway, so this man, he was just laying there and we talked. The guy in the psych ward. I don't know. I don't like those words. Those have bad connotations or whatever it's called. towards those words, especially bipolar. If you tell somebody you're bipolar, they think you are crazy. That's why I don't tell people. I just don't. No, I'm sure some of it comes out. I had somebody tell me, yeah, I knew you were bipolar. But I'm just not your typical bipolar. You know, up and down, up and down. My stepmom, she's bipolar, but she's manic. That woman, well, used to, when I lived there, she never stopped. She couldn't sleep. She would just be always going. And she'd talk all the time. All the time. You would leave the room and she'd still be talking. I didn't mind it, but yeah. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I can't hear you right now. Hold on. Because I otherwise you just stand there for hours. You gotta keep moving. You gotta keep doing something. But anyway, me being there in that room with him while he was laying in that bed, it seemed like it helped him. And I explained to him that I rarely come here. Like, they assigned me to you. God put me here. I didn't tell him that. You know, I was a believer. But I've only become a believer because God saved me. Yeah. He's took me out of some shit. Should have lost my life twice. First one to cancer. Second one, I got in a wreck. It was just me. I flipped it. I totaled that truck. Totaled it. I walked away with a couple bruises. And a dent in my leg. The center council, I didn't have a seatbelt on. I always wore a seatbelt. But I was in a hurry. Yeah. I was floating in that cab. Floating. I didn't have a seatbelt on. The center council, I think, is what saved me. That's why I had that indention in my leg. It finally went away. I'm 37 now. And I still have a knot there. But it used to be like a big indention. Stayed there for years. Years. But yeah, it was a 4x4 little pickup. Hit a patch of sand. Fishtailed it. Flipped it. Went into the field. It was totaled. And the passenger side window was open. I could have just flew right out of that bitch. But the center council stopped me. Yeah. Anyway, I had just messaged this girl I just recently met. She was in a nursing home. Well, skilled nursing home, nursing facility. It was really odd. It's like a rehab place. I'm a physical therapist assistant now. So it's a rehab place. And usually it's elderly people, and some people actually just live there. One person that lived there actually punched me in the chest. Dislocated my rib. That was also God sent. Anyway, I just remember seeing her. She was young. She was laying in that bed. I saw myself in her. She didn't want to get out of that bed. But I'm physical therapy. I make you do physical things. And sometimes she would refuse. And I said, no, you can't. You can't refuse. I said it for her sake. But really, if you refuse, she was on a certain program. So if you refuse and you don't get treatments 5 times a week, you have to pay for it. Well, whoever is doing it is not going to pay for it. You have to pay for it. And I told her that. I was like, you do not want to skip this. Give me 15 minutes. That's all I need. Just 15 minutes. So she would. But yeah, I need her to get out of that bed. Just like my dad would kept telling me, Lisa, you need to get out of this bed. And that's the hardest thing. Hardest thing to do. She's doing a lot better now. She's getting there. She's finding her voice. I'm very proud of her. Finding your voice is hard. Keeping it is hard. But if you live in your truth, it's not so bad. Anyway, oh, there was another guy. I just took care of him maybe a couple weeks ago. He suffered from anger outbursts. He actually had a diagnosis for it. I don't know what it's called. But, yeah. And that day was crazy. So I didn't come to work till like 3:30. I don't even get into that. But anyway, I had like 10 people on my patient list that I was supposed to see that day. I only had time for 3. And he's the one I picked. I walked into the room. There was he was in B bed, A bed, B bed, doors over here. And so I peeked around the corner, the curtain. I said, "Hey, how are you?" He's like, "I am pissed." I think that's what he said. I don't know. He was not happy. I don't remember what word he used, but he was not happy. He had not got his pain meds. And he was in a lot of pain. His shoulder was dislocated, I think. And he had been gone that day, so he didn't have his meds routinely like he usually did. But he was back, and he needed his meds, and he'd been ringing. And a bad thing about nursing homes, there's a CNA that can come in and be like, "Hey, what you need? Can I help you some?" And they'd be like, "Yes, I need some pain meds." "Okay, cool. I'll go tell the nurse." That's all they can do. That's all they can do. They can go and tell the nurse. That is up to the nurse or the CNA or CMA. Usually it's the CMA. You would go tell the CMA, certified medical aid. All they do is pass meds. And usually they're one person to the whole hall. Or 3 halls or whatever. So, it's not always in a timely fashion, and they don't mean it, but they don't get their meds on time. They don't. I hear this all the time. So I said, okay, I'll take care of it. So I went and found a nurse and told him, "Hey, so-and-so, he's in a lot of pain. He needs his pain meds." "Okay, well, you need to consult with so-and-so over there." "Okay, cool." So I went down the hall. Be like, "Okay, so-and-so needs his pain meds." Like, "Oh, well, the nurse has to check him out first." Okay. So when's that going to happen? I was just adamant. I was calm. I really didn't, I said, okay, and I left. I went back and I talked to him, and I gave him a heads up of what happened. And about 5 minutes later, I go back out there. I'm like, okay, where is she? Then finally, somebody came in, asked him what his pain level was, and then left. But I clearly told you he was in pain. Like, okay. I don't know how long this man has been asking for pain meds. And it took you that long just to come and ask him what his pain level was. Anyway, so she left. No meds yet. So I went back out there. I stood by the med cart, and a guy was standing there He said, well, you know, I have to wait for the nurse, or this and that. And I just stood there. I'm like, okay. Eventually, he started talking about, you know, I'm sorry, and, you know, I don't know, all this stuff. And he started talking to me. After that, we would have conversations in the hall. Otherwise, he never talked to me. You know, because therapy and CMAs were like, we do our own thing. So we see each other in the hall, but there's really no point of talking to each other. We're busy. We don't got time to sit and talk. So when you talk to me, it actually took up my time, and it was like, shit. But anyway, it was nice. He opened up to me. But yeah, I just stood in there. I just stood there. So finally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back in there. And then finally, they brought his medicine. And he was still irritated. So I calmed him down. I talked to him. I talked him through it. Because I was there. I talked him through it. And at the end of all of it, he was calm. He was finally calm. He finally got his medicine. He asked me. He said, did God send you? Yeah. So yes, people feel God in my presence, apparently. I don't know. The guy at the psych ward, you know, him, another lady, her, the young girl. I can tell you countless stories. Countless. I was seeing it for 10 years. And the physical therapist for 5. Physical therapist assistant for 5. Anyways, this is getting long. It's at 22 minutes. See, I just be talking. I don't know. I never really had anybody want to listen. My ex never really talked to me. He didn't even really like to have conversations through text. When I started doing that at the very beginning of our relationship, he asked me, why are you always checking up on me? Blah, 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 blah. I'm just trying to talk to you. That's it. Fine. Kovu listens to me, though. Even though he's snoring. And God. God hears me. We just be talking. He talks to me in music, usually. And sends things in my path. Literally. Every thought that I've come across for business ideas came across my feed. Every one of them. I didn't go looking for them. And now these new tools that I need to work, okay. So I was able to find a laptop for $48, which is really worth $226, I think, new. But it was on Amazon and it's refurbished. And it said excellent condition. So I'm going to hold him to that. But yeah, it was only $48. And I need a laptop. Can't be mobile. Apparently a tablet is considered mobile. Stupid. To use this program where I can create my own ebooks and share my knowledge with the world. And I can create them, which would be kind of cool. I like creating things. But it wouldn't let me scroll. On my tablet, it would not let me scroll. I could put the text in, but on this side, it generates a page for you. You can put pictures, and it just rearranges it. It's really awesome. You put videos in there. but I couldn't get past the first page. It would not let me scroll. I can scroll through the text, see which page says what, blah, 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 but on the other side, I cannot see what it looks like. I cannot format it. I cannot create what I wanted to create. And then come to find out, after getting frustrated, it doesn't support mobile devices. So, I was able to find a computer for $48. Sure, it's a knockoff, whatever, but it'll work. I'm not have to have the finest things. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I'm sitting in the back and you're replacing it until it does work. I don't play that game. Anyways, I gotta go. Me and Cobra are gonna go for a walk, be among God's creations. That's why I moved to Oregon. My mom asked me, why did you move so far away from home? No, family. Why did you move so far away from family? So I never really felt like I had a family. To be honest with you, I really didn't. Except for my dad. And I can't just live with my dad. My dad lives in the middle of nowhere. There's no jobs out there. Plus, it's ugly. Kansas is ugly. No offense, Lord. No offense. I know you created it, but damn. No. Give me trees. Give me a river. Give me birds in the trees. Give me waterfalls. Give me nature trails. You know, the ocean. Not so much here. It's cold. It's cold here. But mountains. I like to be around God's creations. It brings me peace. So yeah, that's where I'm about to go. I'm going to go sit among the Lord's creations, watch the water, feel the earth underneath my feet, listen to the birds, admire the trees, and the path. The path is made of, they laid down, I don't remember what it's called, pieces of wood all together, you know what I mean? And we put it on top of the ground. It makes it a nice path. And it has a red tint to it. It's very beautiful. Very beautiful. Anyway, I'm excited. It's like a 3-mile walk. A little bit over 3 miles. But I always seem to start my day so late that it's dark. So I don't really get to enjoy it. Not all of it. So I'm going to go. See you next time.